We've got this great equipment from Baileigh. We've got a really cool project that's going to test each and every piece of equipment. And we're going to look at the pros and cons of each machine and make a whole bunch of noise. So we got our door top made. I've got the door skin sitting on the buck, and we're going to put our other half of our bead in the top of the panel. And this panel here is shaped to fit that buck. Everything's just laying there real nice. You always have to have a guide to put your bead in your panel. For this piece, if you remember, the die was the guide to hold everything straight. On this panel, we're going to use this outside edge right here, okay? So you always want to be sure that whatever edge you're going to use for your guide needs to be straight with no bumps or low spots, because if it's got a high spot or a low spot in this, or it's cut crooked or wavy, when you run your bead through there, your bead's going to be wavy too. And I mean, even if it's just a minute amount. So I took a file and got this nice and straight. And then since I'm trying to duplicate this bead, I laid this panel up here, put it in this corner, in this corner. It touches perfect in the middle, here and here. So I don't have to trim or arc the top of this panel to match this bead. So this is the post guide here that the sheet metal is going to go up to. That edge, that outside edge, is going to rub up against that, and that's how I want to be able to keep it straight. I'd probably make me a tool post where I could actually get this even a little bit closer to this die here. Your tool post down here is completely fixed. The way this is set up, your dies have to be pretty much dead nuts exactly how they need to be. You don't have any adjustment forward or backwards. That's one thing I like about the Pull Max, is I have that option of being able to fine tune and push my die in or out to tighten up the contact area. But other than that, it's still doing the same thing. It's just up and down like a sewing machine, and we've got the machine set on Pull Max mode, I guess you'd call it, where it's all locked solid. And so yeah, we're ready to go. There we go. That's the start of it. I'm really happy with how this bead turned out. We trimmed it, trimmed about a ½ inch of it off. You can see how it all lays together real nice. You know, the bead's consistent, panels are the same. Before we put this together, what I'm going to do now is on this edge of the upper piece, take a piece of metal and just break it 90 and get this top piece on. And the reason we're going to put this piece on now and weld it is I have a tool made that will actually planish that weld exactly where it needs to be. Another reason why we want to do this is if I have the bottom of the door skin on and it's hanging down, I can't get the thing in the machine to run this particular tool through it, because the door skin, this part here, would crash into a couple of pieces on the machine. So I'm going to go ahead and get this done. Now, at this point, you've got to be exactly sure that this sweep is exactly where it needs to be, because once you weld this other piece on here with the other 90, you're not going to be able to move this around to change this arc if you need to. So you got to be sure you got it really, really nice before you attach the other piece. There we go. There's a little piece. Now we'll go with kick shrinker.
What was that last thing?
Okay, so now we've got our little piece made. Broke it on the little brake. Kick shrinker stretcher. Lays nice and flat, like we did on the door top, and fits our profile perfectly. So now we can transfer it over to the door top, get some measurements, clamp it in place, scribe it, tack it, weld it. Okay, so I've got our piece fitted to the top here. We got our width set. I measured the original door. We're consistent all the way through. I checked the sweep to be sure that we haven't lost anything. Then you want to scribe it. This is where we're going to trim this, because we're going to butt weld it. Nice heavy scribe line. Trim this right here with 10 snips. We got our top piece welded together, did a finished weld on it. Now I've got the dies in the machine here that are going to planish this weld, get it all nice and flat. Ran it through the machine, planished the weld. It's really nice and flat. It's got even shape. Light sanding with some 80 grit, and that weld will disappear. So this MH19 machine, I really think is pretty cool. It's doing everything that the Pullmax can do. I like the fact that, you know, we were able to turn this into a power hammer to do that linear stretch so we could get this thing tuned in. I want to take it to the bench and check it out real good and be sure everything's cool. And then we're going to attach it to the door skin. And so now we've got this marked. I'm going to cut it, trim it, and tack it together. Be on our way of having a finished door. Okay, so here we have it. We got our panel tack welded together. It's looking good, everything's straight. We got all of our contours the same. I'm gonna finish welding this, get the other machines ready, and start the next panel.